Thank you very much, Klaus, and thank you, Thor. Can I share a secret? Someone tried to give the minister a Nordic name, no, a Danish name, and they chose the name Gorm. So I fully understand why you insist on having your beautiful Icelandic name, and I'll try to learn and pronounce it right. Well, also from my side, a warm welcome, and it is both a pleasure and it's also an honor to be able to address you at this conference today on energy security and citizens. And I'm actually quite impressed to see the turnout today. I know that weather is a challenge for us, not used to these conditions in Iceland, and a lot of planes were canceled, so it's really nice to see that everyone is sitting around these tables. And I must emphasize that the topic of today's conference is very timely, both for the individual Nordic countries as well as for the Nordic cooperation. The Nordic region as a whole has a vision to become the most sustainable and integrated region in the world. Secure, affordable, and clean energy is fundamental to realizing this. And yet, in view of the last 2 years' unprecedented energy prices and geopolitical risk, the Nordic region faces an energy trilemma, 3 conflicting challenges to delivering a secure, affordable, and sustainable energy transition. We must meet energy demand reliably, withstand system shocks, and prepare for a sharp increase in electrification, all while providing equitable access to abundant energy and delivering a positive climate and environmental impact. That's a long sentence, and that's also a big chore, and lots of problems in that. Energy security is a prerequisite for national security and industry competitiveness, with strategic, political, and economic implications for the countries and citizens, as well as for Nordic and international cooperation. If the Nordic countries are to meet their ambitious energy and climate goals, policymakers must consider the vulnerabilities of a decarbonizing energy system and ensure our energy cooperation and interlinked systems remain resilient. Yesterday, the Nordic Ministers of Energy met here in Reykjavik, and energy security, of course, was very high and is very high on their agenda. At the meeting yesterday, they discussed how we can use the experiences from the energy crisis to strengthen the energy supply and the green transition of the Nordic countries. There are important learnings from the period we have gone through, which can be used as leverage for a strengthened development and to secure consumers through this transition. A troubled world calls for more Nordic cooperation. The cohesion of the Nordic region is important, especially with a view to ensuring security of supply. Although we as a region have been in a very different situation during the height of last year's energy crisis, we are somehow strongly interlinked, mainly on how to ensure security of supply and affordable prices. The Nordic region is fortunate to have a high ratio of renewable energy sources in our electricity and heat supply. At the same time, we have a strong history of energy cooperation between the countries. So there's no doubt that the green transition has political support. But what about the public and the local acceptance? The green transition affects us all, for example, by our way of living and our common climate. So we are all part of it, and of course we should all be part of it. And therefore we must make sure that it is an inclusive process. The Nordic region shall not only be a green region, but of course also a socially sustainable region. The green transition in energy production, distribution, and usage necessitates new infrastructures and constructions, often very visible as in the case of, for instance, a wind farm, solar panels, and transmission lines. In a similar way, hydropower and geothermal energy installations can change and do change landscapes. So this affects citizens and affects local resistance. So we must humanize the green transition, and doing that by an inclusive cultural transition for a green future. Citizens need to engage, and we need to establish mutual trust and common values. In many years, this is a new, in many ways, this is a new situation for the energy sectors and the regulators, and it is not an easy task. We must exchange experiences, learn from each other's best practices, and also maybe learn from each other's worst practices. So I think that your discussions here today really will inspire this work. Trust and common values are some of the ground pillars in the Nordic cooperation. And taken one by one, yes, we are relatively small countries, but together we have a very strong starting point in both energy cooperation and in values. And in addition, we have the courage, we have the know-how and the desire to play an active role, not only in our region, but of course also in a wider context. So we cover the Northern Hemisphere from the border to Canada in the west and to the border of Russia in the east. And as a region, we actually constitute the world's 11th largest economy. We supplement each other almost perfectly in terms of many policy areas, including energy. So our cooperation also serves as a tool for promoting Nordic positions of strength and to create solutions that are workable on a global scale. So in short, we insist on the value of cooperation and we insist on Nordic solutions. And together we can set standards, we can develop new ways, and we can push boundaries. We want to play a vital part in making our region green, competitive, and socially sustainable, a secure region that is the most sustainable and the most integrated region in the world. So by achieving the vision, we make the Nordic region a better place, a livable place, and we can inspire others to contribute to the development of more sustainable solutions. So I think we are well on our way, and in the Nordic Council of Ministers, we are in the process of setting the scene for the Nordic cooperation for the next 6 years up to 2030. We are working on clear political priorities, addressing cross-sector issues, and doing our best to ensure broad anchoring of central Nordic cooperation partners. So therefore, the topic of this conference, it's very timely, and I really hope that you are as excited as I am to actually be listening to the discussions today. So I wish for all of us that we have a very fruitful conference. Thank you.